Greetings. I wanted to share something with you guys that happened to me, like a revelation the other night. So it was like a couple nights ago. And I wanted to wait to share the message. I wanted to do that live discussion that I recently did. The Mercury retrograde one, blah, 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 whatever. And in that I was talking about an exercise that I was guided to do. And while I was doing the exercise, while I was gathering the message, this song came on. So long story short, you guys, I want to share this with whoever this is, for, to encourage them. And if this resonates with you, I just want to say this, that if you are someone that deals heavily with trust issues when it comes to accepting and receiving love, and when I say love, not just like between like a love relationship, like a romantic partnership, this can go hand in hand with, any type of receiving love and, from people that truly authentically care about you and love you, that there may be this feeling of mistrust. So you might be dealing with that. You might be currently healing through that. And Spirit was like really, talking to me very clearly about this. And what I mean by that is like just in my spirit, like I know like the things that I have to do and, what I need work on and what's a hindrance or block. And for some of you, it's like love, romantic love could be so near and so close to you, but your heart is not open to it because of, past pain. And God has compassion for you. And what God was revealing and saying was that the person that is for you will love you and have compassion for you. Unlike in the past where maybe you attracted, or I should say people were attracted to you, these people may have exploited your trauma. They may have took your kindness for weakness. They may have had a lack of empathy or sympathy for you as well. Sorry, it's always an interruption when I'm trying to record. But yeah, instead of them, because the person that's for you, that's healthy for you, they will seek to be there for you, to, be considerate. And that's one thing that I noticed, that there's a difference between people that really care, not, they care to make sure that they're not triggering you or hurting you. They know that you have some soft spots in certain areas or things that maybe you fear you're still working through or considering. It's like a dog. I'm gonna just use this as an example. I'm not saying that we're dogs. I'm not saying that. And there's nothing wrong with dogs. I'm not saying that. I love animals, but I'm not trying to degrade by calling somebody an animal. Just, y'all know the difference. But anywho, so this analogy, let's say for instance, there's a dog, a rescue dog that has gone through a lot of abuse, right? And has been locked up, caged up, chained up in extreme heat, or not being fed properly, or, their owners are, harming them in some type of way, right? So when someone comes to adopt that animal, they're not going to do things that they know are going to trigger that animal. They're not going to blatantly or intentionally do things to rile that animal up again or to remind them of what they've experienced, right? They're going to be patient. They're going to be considerate. They're going to be kind. They're going to be loving, accommodating in a sense of, okay, I know that you fear being in the dark. I'm going to put a night light in here with you or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between people that genuinely care versus people that are just like, they know that these certain things hurt you, so they do it, they get under your skin, or they do things like, I'm gonna exploit you, I'm gonna use you, I'm gonna pretend like I have your best interest, and then I'm going to throw it in your face, I'm going to gaslight you, I'm going to manipulate, I'm going to poke at you, that's not people that really genuinely care or really have the capacity to love you in the way that you need. So the person that's for you is going to be that person that's truly wants to love you. And while I was doing this exercise, God guided me to do or to write a love letter to myself. And at first it was a little difficult to do because I had it in mind to write it from a perspective of kind of like someone that truly, genuinely loves and cares about me would express things to me, but I had to go into myself and pull that out of myself and give that to myself, if that makes sense. And when I was writing certain things, Spirit did start to go into the whole love thing, like the whole romantic thing in this love letter to myself, and the type of partner and things like that was coming up. And I was playing my music in the background, and the song is like I think it's like an early 2000 song. I don't think it's a 90s. I think it's early 2000 song called Someone to Love You, I believe it's called, by Rough Ends, RUFFENDZ, like ends with a Z. Rough is spelled RUFF. Some of you guys are familiar with this group. Some of you are familiar with that particular song. So that song came on, and I started really listening to it. And funny thing, I don't want to make this a long video because it's already like 6 minutes in. Y'all know how I do. I be thinking like this is going to be straight shooter, but sometimes it's not. So when I listened to the song, I actually really sat and listened, and the lyrics hit differently because it resonates, right? Versus when I first heard it, I was probably like still in the elementary school going into junior high when that song came out, and I used to love listening to like slow jams on the radio late at night. It would be like a whole segment like from 10 p.m. to like 1 a.m. in the morning. This would be on, and they would play like all these old like love songs and up to date. So at that time it was like early 2000 music, and that song would come on, and I loved that song. But as an adult, and you know, just what I experienced and what I've been, you know, through, it resonates. So that song came on, and I was just crying. And then the next day I was guided to write some more, not the love letter, but just like write some more notes and more downloads that I was receiving. And this was around like 2 o'clock in the morning when I was writing it, and the song came on again. So I'm just sitting here and I'm crying again. It's just like hitting me. And not to be TMI, I'm not even on my period. And it's like those type of emotions where you just cry, just like all these emotions come out. And it just keeps popping up. And not only that, like, I think right after that song came on, Mint Condition, and I love Mint Condition. Thanks, shout out to my dad, because my dad is a Mint Condition fan and would play them all the time. But Someone to Love You, or Someone to Love, came on by them. And it's just like the similar titles and lyrics. So I felt led to write out like how the collective's husbands feel about them, or anyone who needs to hear the message, and maybe how they're, because I'm getting this particular for women, you know, seeking husbands or desiring a husband or a life partner, and how they want to love you. So I admitted to myself a few days ago, like I had to really be honest with myself and say, I'm not ready for the one. I'm not, I'm actually working on allowing it to come in, because I know that where I'm at, I'm not in a place to where I can fully embrace them, nor probably even discern like that who they would be. Like, as far as, there's a difference between a good man just in general versus a good man that's for you, if that makes sense. So I want to be able to discern that and be able to embrace and to be loved, versus, you know, only accepting like fake love or the games, because that's what I was used to. And I'm sure Some of you guys can identify with that. So shortly after Music Soul Child's Don't Change came on, and I started crying again because it just hits. And that's another one of my favorite songs too. And that just was like, all these songs was just coming on. And I looked at the clock and it was 2:23 a.m. on the clock. So for me, when I see 222 oftentimes or 223, I will associate it with Genesis 22 and 23, which Genesis 2 and 23 says, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And it's the story of Adam and Eve, right? And at that point, when I looked at the clock, I kid you not, I looked at the clock, it was 2:23 a.m. at the point where he said, I was meant for you and you were meant for me. And I knew immediately what God, like what Spirit was trying to like convey. So it hit because the things that, and I'm being transparent, and some of you may resonate with this as well, but it hit me because of the things that I fear around like me being desirable by my person, or like that someone could desire me in spite of what I feel like are imperfections, so-called flaws, or feel like, you know, he could have this person or he can have that, he can have anybody else, but so why me? And I know like that's a janky way to think, because I know that I have great qualities. I know that I have a beautiful heart, but there's things like nowadays you just get discouraged because of, you know, just like people are heavily superficial nowadays, to the point where it's like some people believe that you're only lovable unless you look physically appealing, or you have a certain phenotype, or you know, you look like what society says is handsome or beautiful. And God forbid if you be a little bit overweight, or you have this type of facial feature, or this skin tone, or this hair texture, whatever, this height, that you're not as desirable. So therefore it's going to be more challenging for you to find love. Whereas love is just a human, like it's something that we all deserve to experience. It's not exclusive to beautiful men or women only, or what people deem as beautiful. You know what I mean? Or conventionally beautiful or handsome. So I had to release that whole thing, because there is somebody for everybody. So, you know, you can't be in that place, well, why me? Like, what is it about me? And I have to drop that, because that's not a healthy concept to have in the mind. And it comes from a lot of trauma and a lot of past experiences. So those are things that, you know, you have to work through. So if you feel the same, like that resonates with you too, like you really have to heal when it comes to self-acceptance. So the message, like with that song, is the main part that stood out, of course, is as long as your love doesn't change. Like your person is all about you. They're all about love. Like, and I say this all the time, like a person that is only caught up on the superficial all the time, and they're not thinking about the character of a person or the value that that person will add to your life, that's not something connected to superficiality only or material things, but the fact that you want someone that the love is there, and that as long as your love doesn't change, like, because the thing is like, and then that song that I was talking about, the Music Soul Child song, like your hair could turn gray, you could gain weight, you could lose weight, like a person's going to love you. And one of my good friends, like we were out yesterday, and she was telling me about how her boyfriend met her when she was at a smaller size, and he never once like judged her for gaining weight, or, you know, he's very supportive of her. He loves her regardless and conditionally or unconditionally, in a sense of like, he's not attracted just to her physical, and she's a beautiful person, so regardless of whatever size or weight that she is, she's still beautiful inside and out. So, you know, it is beautiful to see that, and for her to rest in that and feel accepted, because I know like what she's been through. I know some of her past dating situations and history. So to see that is beautiful. So you know that it is very much possible that you can have that which you seek. So right after that, Tevin Campbell's song "I'm Ready" comes on, and I love Tevin Campbell. I loved him since I was a little kid. Like, his music, it's nostalgic for me. So like all these like songs is coming on, and it kind of goes back to the first song where "Someone to Love You" or "Someone to Love," and I just started crying again, and I'm just like, okay, because Spirit was giving me messages and downloads, and I just started writing. And then I wrote this person, known or unknown, in whatever, if this person is known to you or unknown to you, their essence, their being, their spirit is waiting for you to be ready to love them. So again, like, your heart has to be in the space to receive this type of love and to receive this person or the person that's for you, whether you know of them yet or you don't even know at all. Just the essence, our souls are already ahead of us, so that person's waiting, and vice versa. Another song that came on, because Prince, I said this on the community post, like, Prince's energy be coming to me randomly, like stuff will just like come up and pop up about him. And I know that his passing anniversary was just a couple of days ago, and one of my favorite songs by him, "Adore," came on, and even that hit, because I never, excuse me, you know how some things just hit you at, it makes more sense at certain points in your life. So it's like, it's a good song and I vibe with it, but then there's certain songs that will hit you because they resonate with you either at that very moment or time when you hear it, or later on when you get older, you appreciate it. So when that song came on, I got in my feels again, and I was just like, okay, this is beautiful. Like, if this line always stood out to me, but it hit a little bit more, the part where he says, "Love is too weak to define just what you mean to me." Like, how is love weak? Like, it's like it's basically like you love this person beyond what you believe love is. Like, it's deeper than, you can't just say love. Like, love is too weak to define just what you mean to me. And then the other part where he said, if actually it goes, "If God one day struck me blind, your beauty I still see," was actually, I think, like one of the first lines. And then the last line was, "Love is too weak to define just what you mean to me." So if God struck you, like this person, if God struck them blind one day, like they just went blind, they would still see your beauty. So again, it's like, it's not about how you look only and alone. Like, this person genuinely loves you. And I know that it's hard to fathom that in this world, that someone could genuinely love you and not be all caught up in what someone looks like. And it's not to say that you won't be attracted to your person physically, or they won't be attracted to you physically. But it's like, when you're a soul driven person, when you operate from your soul, your heart and your soul, you're able to connect in a way that transcends just physical things, or just like what your eyes can see. You can connect and vibe and love from a place of depth in places that you can't see. You know, that's what real love is. And for some people, they don't believe that. You know, they don't believe that that's possible. They don't believe that that's realistic. And it's because, like, you know, people nowadays, like, if you look at society, like, everybody is, not everybody, but it's like superficiality is a big thing and problem. It's, you know what I mean? People are, and it's your prerogative what you do with your body. If it's something that genuinely makes you happy and you want to do it for you because you want to be your best or show up in a way that you feel like is desirable to you, not to appease another person outside of yourself, or to win approval of people, or to get a man, or for someone to love you or find you attractive or get likes, then that's, you do what you do. But we live in this world where people are bleaching their skin, people are cutting up their faces, cutting up their bodies, adding and taking away from things in their bodies. How we look is such a big emphasis on like your value and your worth, what you look like, what you have, you know, what do you look like to everybody else outside of you. There's such heavy stock on this that character is almost like a thing of just like in the back. You know, not everybody is focused on their character as a person, how they show up, how they treat people. Like some people, they don't care, like as long as I'm liked, I'm approved, or you know, I have somebody, or I look like I'm desirable. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to love your body and be proud of the way that you look, but it is a fine line between vanity and being conceited and just being a vessel that just, you don't have nothing else to offer. And I feel like sometimes people can get too caught up on what the external. So that's pretty much all it is that I feel guided to say. I did not want this to be a 20-minute long video. I was thinking this was gonna be like 4 minutes or some shit like that, and of course it's not. It's just not. It's not gonna happen. But anywho, yeah, check these songs out. Go ahead and listen to them. Okay, I probably have like, how many songs? 2, 4, 5 songs. So Someone to Love You, Someone to Love You by Rough Ends, Someone to Love by Mint Condition, Don't Change by Music Soul Child, Tevin Campbell's I'm Ready, and Prince Adore. So that's actually 6 songs, right? I think 6. I think so. I don't know. Anyway, much love as always, y'all. Be blessed, be safe, take care, peace.